Hi, it's Olga here, and today I will show you how I created this particular piece with blue Fern Studio chipboards in a little bit of Christmas spirit. I'm starting with flat canvas and some paints. I'm using acrylic paints and Aeda paints. Aeda paints are water-based, so they blur better. I'm starting with the darkest color I have and going through them until I achieve the white point. So as white paint, I'm using gesso. It gives me better cover and I can add some texture with it. To apply my medias, I use a palette knife or brush, or you can use a rubber brush, some sticks, old credit card. With edge of my palette knife, I'm adding some lines to my background to make it more interesting. Until this moment, I was trying to blur my colors with my palette knife. Now I'm just adding a little bit of darker areas. To cover my title chipboard, I'm using 13 Arts acrylic ink. To colorize my birds, I'm using gesso. I'm adding 2 layers on each bird. Now it's time for Lantaran. It will be main element of my work. At first, I'm adding some Inca gold with my finger and then adding a little bit of gesso randomly. I'm trying to achieve a vintage and distressed look on this element. And to add some white points, I'm using old toothbrush. I'm using it to add texture and to distress some elements. I really like dimension in my work, so to add my title, I'm using 3D foam squares cut it in half. It's quite a lot of squares, but I want to have support on whole surface of my Then I'm just placing it on the piece of blue Fern Studio paper and adding next layer of my acrylic ink. Back to my background. At first you have to be sure that it's completely dry, then you can go with some stamping. I'm using some snowflakes and some old typography stamp, and the same stamp I'm using on those birds to add some interesting elements on them. And to finish my birds, I'm using texture paste through Martha Stewart stencil. Through those stencils, you will get this lace effect on your chipboards. It's really nice and look pretty. Yeah, so I'm covering whole Lantaran with distressing and taking off excess with baby wipe because I cover it partly with gesso, so my distress ink will be visible only on parts of chipboard. It was a little bit too dark, so I added a little bit more gesso with dry brush to have this distress look. Some splashes from this acrylic ink I used to prepare my saying. And to place my Lantaran, I'm using really fat foam foam squares, and in this part, when I will place my bird, I can add a piece of paper to have better support in this area. Of course, I decided that I have to move my composition a little bit on the right, so I'm taking everything and gluing it together. And just to be sure that it will stay on place, I'm using glue. All through the 3D foams are self-adhesive, so you can skip this part. I'm placing one of birds. It's also on 3D foam squares. And I decided to add some stars. I'm covered them with acrylic ink and with glitter before my ink is dry. This way they will be frosted. My glitter is transparent, so it gives me only a little bit spark on some elements. I'm adding some glue on acrylic paint. I will use it to drill my elements in it. It's a very convenient way, especially for small elements. I'm placing the wreath I made from some Christmas branches, and then just glue my Lantaren to it. This way I have more surface secured with glue. I prepared some green holly leaves and some Christmas branches from my punchers, and some die cuts that I made from blue Fern Studios paper. I covered those elements with glitter to make them look like they frosted or covered with snow. It's really nice effect. I used mostly Ombre Dreams collection. Those are really soft colors that you can see through glitter because it's transparent, and I really like this effect. As you can see, I have some branches, some snowflakes, and they all sparkling and shining and looking really good in my composition. Like always, I'm trying to focus all elements around this Lantaren and the title. I really like those Christmas titles. You can check this out in the store. There are a few of them. All have few words, really nice combined. They will look good in canvas, in Christmas layouts, on your cards. I'm placing this bow with little bells. I really like to put those little jingle bells in my Christmas project, and they actually jingle. So when you take the work to your hand, you can hear the Christmas are coming. Actually, they're not coming yet, but I'm always late with projects, so I'm starting early. I'm adding some snow. I made it from gesso and texture paste, but you can use ready snow. You can buy it in many craft stores right now. If you don't have, you can mix gesso and paste just like I did, and just place it in some tube with precise applicator on the end. To make it look more like real snow, I'm using transparent glitter on top of it. I apply it at once after I apply my specifics, because this way it will look the best. When everything is dry, for me it's usually the next day, I'm just taking brush and take off all excess of glitter, and this way I'm sure that glitter won't get off later on. Yeah, so it's all for today. Thank you for your attention. Please give me a thumbs up if you like it. If you're not a subscriber, please do it at once, because there are so many amazing tutorials on Fern Studio channel. You don't want to miss any of them. On close-ups you can see all the details, and if you like my work, please visit my blog. The link is at the end video. So again, thank you for your attention and have a nice and crafty day. Bye bye.